I used to scroll for hours on end, but when it was time to do the things I knew I should be doing, my brain would just stall. I felt lazy, broken, and like my motivation had completely flatlined. I even tried a dopamine detox, thinking I could just hit some magical reset button over a weekend, but nothing ever stuck. It felt like I was in a fight against my own mind, a fight I was rigged to lose. It wasn't until I figured out that my brain wasn't the problem. The problem was that it was being hijacked. The modern world has changed the rules of the game, and our brains are just trying to keep up. In the next few minutes, I'm going to share my story and the science-backed protocol I use to finally break free and make discipline actually feel good. I'm going to show you how to trick your brain into loving the work. Section 1. The problem. The dopamine trap. We all fell into let's be real. Does this sound familiar? You've got a big project looming, an essay to write, or a workout you swore you'd do. But first you tell yourself, just 5 minutes on my phone. And then, poof, 2 hours vanish into a digital haze and you're left feeling groggy, anxious, and even further behind. You just spent hours consuming content, but you feel totally empty. I remember sitting on my bed at 2 a.m., phone in my hand, knowing I should sleep, and still scrolling. That's when I realized I wasn't lazy. I was stuck. This was my reality. My days were driven by chasing the next tiny, fleeting hit of pleasure, a notification, a new video, one more level in a game. It's like trying to live on a diet of mental junk food. It's cheap, easy, and gives you that immediate spike of satisfaction. But it leaves you with zero real energy and makes you incapable of pursuing a nutritious meal. You know, the kind of long-term goal that actually nourishes your life. This cycle locks you into a powerful reward-seeking loop. Your brain learns that the fastest, easiest way to feel good is to unlock your phone. Over time, the things that require actual effort, reading a book, learning a skill, going for a run, start to feel impossibly difficult. This isn't because you're lazy. It's because your brain's reward system has been methodically trained to always choose the path of least resistance. Section 2, the agitation, how your brain got hijacked. So what is actually happening inside your brain? And this is where I had my big aha moment. I realized I wasn't fighting a character flaw. I was fighting my own brain chemistry. First, let's bust the dopamine detox myth. Dopamine isn't a poison you flush out. It's a vital molecule for motivation and focus. The problem isn't dopamine itself, but our relationship with it. Think of your motivation like a volume knob. Normal activities, like a good conversation, keep it at a comfortable level. But when you bombard your brain with hyperstimulating things like endless social media, you're cranking that knob to 11. To protect itself, your brain does something called down-regulation. It turns its own volume down. It becomes less sensitive. This is why normal, healthy activities start to feel boring. A walk in the park can't compete with the constant fireworks of a social media feed. Reading a book feels dull compared to the instant rush of a video game. This is the hijack, and a 48-hour detox won't fix it. What you're actually doing when you take a break is a form of cognitive behavioral therapy. You're giving your nervous system a chance to recalibrate by consciously breaking compulsive habits. The goal isn't to purge a chemical, it's to retrain your behavior. If this is starting to click for you and you're ready for the how-to, do me a quick favor and hit that subscribe button. We're about to get into the exact protocol I use to take back the controls, and you won't want to miss what's coming next. Section 3, the solution. The 3-phase protocol to rewire your brain. All right, this brings us to the protocol. This isn't a one-time painful detox, and it's a gradual rewiring process based on the real neuroscience of how our habits work. I broke it down into 3 simple phases. Phase 1, preparation. This is where most people mess up, and it's the most important step. You can't just take away the bad habits. You have to plan what you'll do with the empty space you've created. First, get brutally honest and identify your top 2 to 3 sources of cheap dopamine. For me, it was mindless YouTube surfing and the Instagram app on my phone. Second, and this is the key, you must plan replacement activities. Don't just say, I'll read more. No, schedule it. Put a book on your pillow. If you want to go for walks, put your running shoes right by the front door. If you want to journal, leave a notebook and pen open on your desk. The goal is to make the good behavior easier to do than the bad one. You have to change your environment to match your intention. Phase 2, active restructuring. This is where the real work starts. For these 5 days, you're going to completely cut out those 2 to 3 high dopamine activities you identified. And look, I'll be honest with you, the first few days of this phase can be rough. You're going to feel bored. You'll feel restless. You might even feel a little anxious. This is totally normal. It's the feeling of your nervous system crying out for the intense stimulation it's used to. The secret is to not run from that feeling. When you feel that twitchy urge to grab your phone, just pause. Acknowledge it. Tell yourself, this is the feeling of my brain rewiring. Then, immediately pivot to one of your planned activities. Go for that walk. Read that one chapter. Write one paragraph. You are literally forging new neural pathways by repeatedly choosing a new response to an old trigger. And something interesting might happen around day 4 or 5. This isn't a guarantee, but it's often when you start to feel a shift. You might wake up feeling clearer. You might find yourself doing things without having to fight yourself. You'll start to feel genuine satisfaction from completing a small, real-world task. That's your brain starting to find reward in effort again. Phase 3, intentional integration. This final phase is all about sustainability. The point isn't to become a hermit and go live in a cave. It's about reintroducing these things back into your life, but this time on your terms. You don't go back to mindless scrolling. You decide, I will check my messages for 15 minutes at noon and 15 minutes at 6 p.m. You don't binge an entire season in one night. You decide to watch one episode and then you turn it off. The power dynamic has shifted. You're moving from compulsive automatic behavior to conscious, intentional use. You are in control now, not the algorithm. This isn't a one-week fix. Building new, lasting habits is a process. Neuroplasticity research shows that consistently reinforcing these new behaviors is what makes them stick for the long haul. And Section 4, the real transformation. It's not about discipline, it's about joy. Here's the biggest secret I learned through all of this. This process isn't really about becoming more disciplined. Honestly, that sounds awful. We think discipline is about forcing ourselves to do things we hate, but that's a battle you will always, eventually, lose. The real transformation happens when you recalibrate your brain's reward system. The goal is to get to a point where the effort itself becomes rewarding. The feeling of being focused, the quiet satisfaction of making progress on something that matters to you, the pride in keeping a promise to yourself, that becomes your new dopamine hit of choice. You're not just breaking bad habits, you are building a new identity. You are tricking your brain into falling in love with the process of getting better. And discipline stops feeling like a punishment and starts feeling like an act of self-respect. That feeling of being broken and lazy, it isn't your fault. But taking back control is your responsibility. It's not about a mythical detox. It's about a practical, science-backed protocol of behavioral change that anyone can follow. You have the power to rewire your own brain. So here's my challenge to you. Make one concrete decision right now. What's the single biggest source of empty dopamine in your life? Name it. Then, commit to replacing it with a planned, positive activity for just the next 7 days. Comment the one habit you're ready to replace. I read every single one.